What is going on, snipers? Naeem Al-Obeidi here. I hope all of you guys are having a wonderful day today. We're going to go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple today to see where prices are headed after this correction. Hopefully, it's the end of the correction. Of course, we're going to be looking at the technicals today, which are also psychological cues of risk and reward patterns of the human psychology. So technical analysis is very good when determining where price levels may start to reverse. However, we can never determine the magnitude once again, but only the price movements itself. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it today. So we've currently got our trading view chart pulled up. The link is in the description below. It's a free resource. And if you right click insert indicator, you can make yours look just like mine by inserting the volume, the 3 moving averages, the relative strength index. We're also going to be using the auto fib today, which is a Fibonacci retracement tool. And we're also going to be utilizing the moving average exponential, or the EMA. Some people call it the exponential moving average. As you can see with this Fibonacci retracement is a arithmetic indicator. It's all based on mathematics. Fibonacci has different levels. If you actually pull up the Fibonacci retracement, you can do a manual Fibonacci retracement here to see exactly how this works. The auto fib does this for you, but you can see that's kind of how you want to do it from the peak to the trough here, and then you have those Fibonacci levels set out. But in this case, this is already done for us. So looking at Fibonacci right now, you can see we're currently finding levels of support right along this green Fibonacci level. And what's interesting about Bitcoin's correction is we bounced right on top of that 7,900 level, which is where we found previous support back here. And then we bounced right back into that 200-day moving average area. If you guys bold this 200-day moving average, you can see it's going to be in yellow. If we darken that, that's the 200-day moving average. We're right along that line right now where we expected to find some sort of support, but it may not be the final support. And understand that we're going to be planning for the worst and hoping for the best. And if we were to plan for the worst, in my opinion, I think the worst Bitcoin can get down to, in my opinion, would be around these levels of 5,500. The reason I say that is it looks like we found some very strong support here multiple different times. And in my opinion, that's really the extent to which we can see this correction. If it goes lower than that, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a worry for me, and that is a little bit more extreme because at that point, that could truly be the start of a bear market. However, in my opinion, I don't want to spread any FUD or anything of that nature. I want to talk about the logic here. And if you're looking at the logic, you can see we're bouncing off that Fibonacci line. We're right along that 200-day, and it looks like we're not going to go much further than this because the RSI, as you can see, is finally hitting that bottom area around 30. And we're looking to see this at least go under 30 for a little bit so it can bounce back up. The reason I say that is the RSI, is the relative strength index. It's a great indicator to know when something's overbought, if it's over 70, or oversold under 30. Overbought means prices are probably going to dip. If it's oversold, you can see when it's oversold, the RSI goes down here and it bounces back up. So we're looking to see this RSI once again bounce. And right now, we have seen it come down to around the 30.9 range, not necessarily going down under 30 just yet on the 1 day. So it's something that I'm watching for to see when this correction is going to start to reverse. And understand this, some people don't understand that the market cap doesn't necessarily mean that's all the money that was put into the market. I'll give you a quick example. If you owned 5 homes, right, and each home was worth $20,000 just for sake of mathematical purposes, and that was an equivalent of $100,000 in total market cap, I guess you can call it, because you've got $20,000, $20,000, $20,000, $20,000, and $20,000 of equity in these homes. And then let's say a year later, all of those homes are now worth $50,000. So now that it's worth $50,000, it's not a total market cap of $100,000 anymore. It's $250,000. But that doesn't necessarily mean you put $250,000 into the market to buy those homes. So the same thing works with this market cap. If you buy a coin for $500 and then it goes to $1,000, the market cap is going to have $1,000 included there based upon your holdings versus having only 500. So the market cap can be skewed in a lot of ways in terms of knowing how much money is actually entered the market, how much physical currency was put to create that market cap. And then in this market, there's other influences such as mining, right? When miners mine coins, you don't necessarily have to pay for them other than the electricity costs and maybe the cost for the initial investment of the miner and such thereof. So understand, with Bitcoin's total market cap right now at $146 billion, we're at quite a low level. Total market cap at 416. I think it would be appropriate to just open up this chart right here. By the way, it says 1,506 cryptocurrencies total. And I'll tell you this, the Binance CEO just had a interview, and he said in the interview that we have over 5,000 listings of potential ICOs and coins to be listed on Binance. And he says in a couple years, he imagines a world with hundreds of thousands of ICOs, if not more. And I think that's an interesting fact, being the fact that, you know, our group here on Discord, sooner or later, we're actually going to be doing more ICO analysis here. And I hope that you guys can get your hands in that. This Discord link is in the description below. It's a free resource, and we have all of our charts pulled up here, and we have this whole community available for you guys. But we're really going to start diving into ICOs. I think that's getting to become more of a priority for individuals like me that are looking to get good positions in this market early on, rather than investing in these larger cap coins that have already seen some sort of market influence, because you can make a lot of money with those smaller cap coins that just kind of come into the market and haven't seen the attention that it's going to see, and then eventually those coins end up popping. So I've got a pretty good list of those. I actually just signed up for a couple programs, different indicator, like different groups, cost thousands of dollars just to get like certain indicators like trade alerts and stuff like that from these big groups. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to forward all of those trading alerts to all of our gold Patreons. So for those of you that are Patreons here on Sniper's Tube, we're going to be taking a little bit of a different approach. Instead of just taking my trade alerts, I've subscribed to some of these programs, cost hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars. Yesterday I actually signed up for one. It was like $2,000 just to get trading alerts from individuals that sometimes we call whales, and some other groups are not like that, and they're not pump and dumps. They're just coins that people are technically looking at that have a potential of a breakout. So all of our trading alerts from now on are going to be pretty much coming from those those trades, and then I'm going to vet all of those trades out as well. So for example, if you guys are on our gold plan on our Patreon, the link is in the description for this, you guys are going to be able to get those trade alerts instead of having to pay thousands of dollars for some of these programs. I don't want to name any in specific because I don't want to get kicked out of them, because I'm releasing the information on our Patreon for the people that are taking our trade alerts. But I am going to be doing that so that you guys can get a little bit more information and get in on the action, being the fact that I'm getting kind of tired of these people manipulating the market. You know, I've attended several conferences. I was just with the co-founder of Monero, and you know, I'm realizing a lot of people are really making majority of their money in these ICOs, getting in early, or even pumping up coins on their own by just having enough capital to bring a market cap high, bringing in that FOMO, and then people bringing that market cap even higher and then selling at the top. People are just making tons of money on individuals like you and I that maybe don't trade as much in volume. And I'm talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to raise these market caps. I had a friend of mine just tell me that he actually raised, there was a coin that he invested in, and it went from like, I don't know what it was, a couple million, but he invested a couple 100,000 in there, and the market cap went up $19 million, because what ends up happening is people are watching the charts, they see volume, they see prices go up, they're like, oh my gosh, this coin's going up. And it was just one person that bought a large amount, prices go skyrocket, and then he sells at the top, makes his profit, and then whatever happens, right? So it's not even a pump and dump, it's just market manipulation, right? Like, I'm very against pump and dumps, 100%. And I'm also against market manipulation in some factors, but people are doing it. We can't stop it, so why not try our best to go against it? So I'm going to be opening that up for all of our gold Patreons and above, for those of you willing to get on that. Hopefully you guys can start seeing more value in that once we start implementing more of these higher tier levels, and then just kind of bring it to the masses, at least in terms of those willing to get on the gold Patreon status. So I just wanted to bring that out because a lot of people were asking me about where those trade alerts are going to start to come from, because I did mention that earlier in our Night Owl. But looking at the total market, you can see with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, Cardano, we're seeing some major correction here, especially in the 7-day, all of them over 15%. Ethereum really seeing the worst, the best of it. And then as you can see, Cardano seeing the worst of it. And I saw this comment the other day, and I think it meant a lot. It really said, these altcoins are really starting to lose credibility because they follow Bitcoin, and they need to stop following Bitcoin. And I really relate to that. However, I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think the market has really been built upon Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin has really been, you know, kind of the OG, and people are really confident in Bitcoin, really confident as a storage, or using it as a storage of value. And I think that it's going to take a while for us to kind of, detach the altcoins from Bitcoin. And that's kind of a question that I want to ask for you guys in the comments below. So I want to definitely hear your opinion on that. Looking at Ethereum here, you can see it's a little bit of a different type of chart here. You can see we saw some upside over that correction where Bitcoin saw a huge correction. We didn't see as much downside here. It's been able to maintain its prices. I think that's a great thing here for Ethereum. But for my play this upcoming season, coming into this February month, I am looking to get more of a Bitcoin position in my portfolio, being the fact that I feel like the prices are extremely low and I like to buy low. Ethereum is nice. I think it's good that it's acting this way. Imagine if Bitcoin starts to rally where Ethereum is going to be. It's probably going to start to rally as well. And I'll definitely have it in my portfolio as I'll have it diversified properly, as I hope all of you do have diversified portfolios. However, I think I will see quite the upside here with Bitcoin. I don't mind buying them at $8,500 and really start to stack up on those Bitcoin. And really my strategy coming into this new year for these major positions that I put in, I want to just hold them. I don't really want to sell because especially here in the United States, the tax laws are in more favor of those that hold now, being the fact that if you hold for at least a year, it's considered capital gains tax, which is significantly lower than any sort of other tax that can be taxed upon each and every trade, especially if you're day trading here in the US. So now that the tax laws have kind of shifted, I'm also shifting a little bit of my strategy. So hopefully that helps some of you guys. But you can see Ethereum's obviously seeing some support here, right around 2.4 million Satoshis, finding a little bit of resistance on top here, right around, it looks about 15.4 million Satoshis. In terms of technicals, I think Ethereum is holding up fairly well. It's surprising in some aspects, but it's also pretty expected in my opinion, being the fact that you got most of these ICOs and these altcoins being built on the ERC20 platform. So ERC20 is one of the greatest inventions in blockchain thus far, in my opinion. And I think because of that, Ethereum's going to hold up despite the downside that we see in the total market. And I think that's a great thing for Ethereum. I think it's one of the most stable currencies, at least in terms of crypto. And you can see we're still at $903, which is insane in my opinion, at a total of an $88 billion market cap. What I want you to note is if you look at the total market cap and we would actually look at the capitalization of dominance with each coin, Ethereum is at a huge number here. And look at that. If you look at Ethereum, it's at 20%, over 20% of the market right now. And Bitcoin is about 35% right now, which I think is just awesome for Ethereum, being the fact that it's starting to take that market cap dominance. You can see it's over half of what Bitcoin is right now at 86 billion versus 144. So interesting to see Ethereum starting to head its way up. I think we can certainly see price levels for Ethereum starting to kind of either stabilize, or as Bitcoin starts to see a reversal and getting into its recovery mode, I think Ethereum can see more upside, being the fact that if Bitcoin's value starts to go up and brings that market up in total, I think Ethereum will also be affected, because Ethereum was affected minutely with this downside. If you pull up the BTC valuations, you can see Ethereum was definitely affected in some way, 0.03, negative 9%, but in the 7-day, it's at 8% positive. So very stout for Ethereum. Then NEO is following right along. There's kind of like the Chinese Ethereum. If you guys don't know, NEO has really been working its way up that market cap. It's already number 6 right now. So interesting to notate. What we'll actually do is we'll probably look at NEO right now. We'll do a price prediction for NEO instead of just Ripple. And why don't we just delete Ripple out of here and only do NEO? How about that? That's just a split-second decision. Why? Because I'm the one making this video. So I'm going to go ahead and switch that. And instead of doing Ripple, we're going to do NEO. I think NEO is a little bit more, in the zone right now. And I think that NEO is probably a chart that I think some of you guys would want to see rather than Ripple right now, being the fact that NEO is at such high regards right now. If you look at that, it's number 6 now. That's stout. That's awesome for NEO. So let's look at NEO's chart. Looking at NEO's day chart, you can see if we're going to form some support down here, it's right around the, looks to be 193,000 Satoshi level. And then we're finding some strong resistance right around 100 and actually it's 1.5 million Satoshi. So that's really good here for NEO. You can see there's a clear pattern here. It's an ascending support line as well. You can see that's now testing these highs. And that could potentially be a breakout here for NEO. If we pull up the 1 hour, you can see how these highs are being tested. We're actually seeing this pattern starting to develop here. And this is a very interesting chart in my opinion, being the fact that we're in this correction mode. But NEO, just like Ethereum, is 8% over Bitcoin in the past 7 days. I wasn't expecting to do this, but this is an interesting chart. We're testing these resistance lines. And here's what I'll say here. There is a way to actually play a coin into resistance levels, which means you buy at the breakout, right? There's ways to profit off of breakouts. So what I would do is play this very simply. I would actually play this at the breakout. When you're playing at the breakout, because you're not buying at low levels, you're typically buying at higher levels, but look at the MACD, this isn't that bad of a level to buy at. But what I would do is I would set up a buy order right on top of these resistance lines, because what happens is if it breaks that resistance, that's called confirmation. And when it has confirmation, that means it's potentially going to go a lot higher than that. So when you're at these high levels, you want to still take a little bit of profits in on the action. Then set up your buy order right on top of the last resistance line where it's finding some sort of resistance, so that if it does pass this mark, it's most likely going to start heading into these higher highs and all-time highs here for NEO. So that's what I would say here for NEO. It's an interesting chart here on the 1 hour. If we pull up the 8 hour or the 6 hour, you can see exact same thing that we're seeing here. Very, very nice trend line here being developed. And then you can see that ascending overall support line. So interesting chart. NEO is another one in the market now. It's another player in the market. I like it. $7.5 billion market cap. I think the biggest thing in a fundamental sense for NEO right now would be China kind of letting down the horses, letting down the gates for ICOs. I think that will truly open up the floodgates for NEO to really start to develop things. I actually recently watched an interview with the CEO of NEO, and I loved it, and I wasn't so fond of NEO at first, but now I'm becoming more fond of it as time develops, as I'm realizing that, yeah, it's touted as the Chinese Ethereum, but it's very different in many ways fundamentally. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing some of you guys on our Discord. The link is in the description below. It's a free resource. We just hit over 20,000 members, and I sometimes pop into these voice channels and talk to the team. And thank you guys for watching this video once again, and hopefully this helped some of you guys and added value in some way, shape, or form to this community. And with that said, guys, thank you so much. Snipers out.